Okay, so first part of this will be basically the installation of a Docker engine inside the Linux machine, the Linux server we have. So we will start basically running a command to check if we have already Docker installed, and then if that, we will remove any older version that eventually can be hosted on the server. This is really important because this way we got basically be sure that we are starting from a clean environment. So we're looking for the Docker itself, the Docker engine, and the whole Docker IO package. So what we expect obviously is that nothing is there. So exactly as expected, there's no environment there. Then based on the version of Linux we are running, obviously we will look for the instruction to install Docker. This could be vary from one flavor to another on Linux. So first command obviously is to update the machine to the latest repositories. So we will issue, in this case, this is an Ubuntu box, so we will issue the typical apt-get update. So we will need now to install small packages that will be useful to locate the new Docker engine, and the most important one probably will be the support for HTTPS repositories. So you see that actually the command we are going to issue is that apt-transport HTTPS to support HTTPS addresses. The CI certificates, to download the certificates from the Docker store to be sure that actually what we have downloaded actually is what we expect. Curl obviously that we need to use to download, and plus a minus package of software properties that will be usable by Docker when it will install the package itself. Okay, so now basically once we get the package installed, we need to start downloading the GPG key from Docker to be able later to add the repository and then grab the packages. In this case, we directly get the link from the Docker documentation that is available online, so we don't have actually to type it. So this is basically the command. As you can see, we use curl that we just installed on a SSL and HTTPS URI that we're going to run it and then add the key to our machine. The OK signs is always a good signs, and down at this point we are actually in a position where eventually we can check the key to be sure that actually is the one expected. Just to show you how to do that, and from a documentation perspective, you see that actually there's a documentation here, and there's also the command that we can actually use it. So we will copy the command directly from their website, and the result should be exactly what expected. Docker release C is a community edition for Linux version from Docker at docker.com. Okay, now basically we are in a position actually to add the repository. We will basically just for explain that the command, we will copy the command, so we will explain the command. It's easier to understand eventually what we are doing. So the command basically is that it can vary from the flavor to flavor, but is just adding the command. Let me show you what this command actually is doing. Okay, so add apt repository is a Linux command to add to the repository, the local repository, a specific URL. The URL says that this is an architecture for 64 bits for Unix from the Docker repo. The most important things is the last two lines. So the first line says that we are going to download the community edition. The second one, that is the most interesting, is that we are going to download the stable version. So Docker comes basically with two kind of flavors. The stable channel that is usually released every quarter, and the edge channel that instead is released one per month. Obviously the edge channel has the latest feature that's been merged on the GitHub project of MobiKit, while instead the stable is the one that should be used in production eventually. We will go for the stable one, of course. So we added the repository. Now, so once the repository is there, as you can see here, we can actually run the last two commands to check it. So the first command is indeed an update format. You will see that in the update that there's a difference between before, because there will be the repository in the list of the URL that we will checking. And at this point, we are in a position actually to install Docker. It is pretty simple. So we will run the proper command. Then apt-get install docker c. Again, as explained before, there's a main difference between docker c and docker he. So this one is the community edition, is the free version. Docker he is the enterprise edition. So on Windows, you always install the Docker Enterprise Edition, because that comes natively with the Windows 2016 box. In Linux, if you want to install the Enterprise Edition, you have to buy a license. So usually on the Linux boxes, most of the people use the Community Edition. But again, what we expect in the near future is, for example, that the Enterprise Edition that comes with the Windows servers, we will support natively the Linux containers seamlessly, so you don't actually need to care about that. So we're in a position, you're ready. I'm not past the flag yes automatically, just to show that actually we're installing. So you see that it requires me 175 megs on the machine. I accept the changes, and now it's grabbing the latest version. When you install it, you can see actually that the version could change from time to time. We're actually installing the latest stable one, that's 17.12. And as I said, every quarter will be basically updated. Of course, you need to run an update on the machine. Okay, everything is okay. There's a couple of steps we can actually do. Well, if you are the only user inside the machine, basically everything is okay and is ready to start. If you have multiple users, you can actually issue, the Docker created a group called Docker, and so you can add your users to this group to work. There's also a convenience script that could be run on the machine to do all these steps automatically. You can download it and you can see that in the documentation. So the $user is just a variable to say use my own user right now that I'm logging in, and add it to the group basically. So I issue the command. That's okay. So now I'm in a position where I can say Docker, which version of Docker we are running, and that's the version. And then we can actually just issue Docker just to see all the command that comes up with Docker. Now, clearly the most interesting things is just to run a really tiny command. So Docker run. So just to test Docker, we are running an issue, a really small command. This command says, dear Docker, please run this container. -it in interactive mode, --rm, remove the container once the container has run it. And the container is called hello world. So if hello world container doesn't exist on this machine, please go to the Docker hub, pull the container for me, install the container image on this machine, and use it to run it. So issue the command. Whoops. So we have an issue. Apparently we have an issue. We have got the permission denied. Actually, what happened is that we installed Docker correctly. We added the user to the Docker groups, but we did not log out from the session yet. So this means that the user has no permission to run Docker yet. If I run the same command as root right now, that is the only user allowed to run Docker, then it would be fine. So the easy way, obviously, to fix that is just log out and re-log in on your machine, and then from that point of view, everything is going to work. And that's what we will do in a minute. So we re-log in on the box now, and we try to run again the command. So what we expect is that Docker will search for the hello world image locally. If the image is not there, it will contact the Docker hub, that is the community repository, public repository for all the images. download the image on locally, and then based on that image, it will run a container for us in interactive mode, so we will see what Docker is doing inside the container, and immediately after, if the container has nothing to do, it will stop the container and remove it for us. So it's a good test to see that actually everything is working fine. So we issue the command. As you see, that the hello world is not there, it's pulling the image. It just run the image here. This is the interactive logs of Docker, and then it came out and is back to our shell. How do we know that actually it did that, and how do we know if the image has been correctly removed, or the container has been correctly removed from after that it exits? So a couple of commands more. First of all, Docker images. That says, can you tell me which container images are locally on my computer? And as you can see, we got the hello world image. He has a tag. The tag basically is really interesting because this way we know which version of the image we're using. So for example, we can have multiple tags for the same image. Especially in the Windows world, it could be that this is a container for version Windows 1709. This is for standard 2016 version. Or it could be related to what is the purpose of image. Let's say that, for example, I have an image based on mono. And so I can have mono tag 5.4, the latest, 5.3.2. So I can actually customize my container based on what I really need to run my applications. He has a unique ID that is being created when the image is being created, and every container I create has a unique ID that allows me to actually monitor the container itself, get in the container itself, and interact with it. And then I know when it's being created. This image has been created 2 months ago, and this is his site. Docker PS is a way to check if there are any container that is running right now on this machine, and as expected, there's nothing. The same command with -a says me, show me any container, even those that are not running on my machine. So if everything worked in a little sample, we should expect to have no results. Just to demonstrate and for the purposes of this short demo, if we run a command and we remove the RM, we will get there with the same result as before, because the container is not, once the container ended up, it will exit anyways. But this time, when we issue the command docker ps-a, the container will be still there. It's stopped, his status is exited, and it's 0, so successfully get out from the container and stopped. He has his own ID, the image from where this container is being created, and the last command that has been issued. Let me copy the ID of this machine. We can actually check this machine status. So if I do docker inspect and the ID of my container, Docker will show me how this container actually is being created. You see the command, hello, we say that. We see that the image is being used. We can actually see if there's an IP address assigned. The container is stopped, so there's no address here. We can see actually how it's been built, if there are any variables in there, if there's any volume mapped, what's the platform of the machine. Oops, sorry. The complete ID of the container, when it's being created, and etc. Now it's time obviously to proceed in our short presentation, and then I'm going to remove the container. That is the last command basically we learn. So again, we check which are our containers, if they are stopped. If not, they need to issue a docker stop. In our case, we will simply remove this container. So the command is pretty simple, it's quite typical in Linux. Docker rm the ID. And finally, nothing is there anymore. And finally, let's remove our simple images for our purposes. So we check the images again. This time the ID is a little bit changed. And we will issue a docker remove image, RMI, and our images. So what happened? You see that actually it did a couple of things. First, he untagged hello world latest. This is a command to just says, well, I don't want to remove actually my entire image, but I can eventually remove just the tag. This is just a reference, so I can have multiple tags for the same image and I just want to remove it once. Then he removed actually the layers he created. So he went out and then he created bigger is the image, bigger are the layers. So that depends on how the image has been created. In this case, there were only 2 layers. There are only probably 2 steps in the image creation. And with that, basically, we concluded the Docker installation demo we just did.